Sometimes, you can look into a dog's eyes and see a story that breaks your heart instantly. That is exactly what happened when a man went to do some work at a neighbor's house. While he was there, the neighbors mentioned a dog next door. They told him that the poor animal had been tied up in the backyard for at least 5 years. 5 years is a lifetime for a dog to be stuck in one spot. The husband couldn't get that thought out of his head, so he looked through the side fence. What he saw was devastating. The dog looked completely defeated. He was living in a fenced-off area that was dirty and lonely. All the food bowls were empty, and he looked like he had given up on ever being happy. The husband couldn't stop thinking about that eye contact. It was a look that said, "Please help me." He knew he couldn't just walk away and leave him there to suffer for another 5 years. He called his wife, and they decided they had to intervene. When they went to get him, it wasn't easy. The chain was heavy and stuck. The husband tried as hard as he could to move it, saying, "I cannot budge this thing." It showed just how long that dog had been trapped there. The dog was confused at first. He saw these strangers and felt a mix of peace and fear. He didn't know what was going on because nobody had paid attention to him for so long. But deep down, he seemed to know that this was his chance. The rescuers called him Deadpool, and he was ready. He was so ready to go. They gently guided him to the truck, telling him, "It's okay, come here, buddy." Getting into the truck was the first step of his new life. They called it his freedom ride. As soon as he hopped onto the seat and the door closed, his mood started to change. He kind of started to perk up a little bit. It was like he realized he was finally leaving that dirt patch behind. They said goodbye to his old life, saying, "You say goodbye, buddy." As they drove away, you could see the relief washing over him. When they finally got him home, they were surprised by his personality. Despite everything he had been through, he was very friendly. He greeted them with a gentle demeanor, as if to say, "Nice to meet you." However, the trauma of being chained up for so long had left its mark. He was very sensitive and scared of almost anything new. Loud noises or sudden movements made him nervous. The next day, they took him to the vet for a full checkup to see what kind of condition he was in. The news was tough. They found out that he was heavy with heartworms. This is a serious condition that happens when dogs live outside without protection from mosquitoes. The rescuers knew that treating heartworms was going to be a long and very expensive process. They were worried about how they would pay for it, but they refused to give up on him. The wife decided to post his story online. She shared the picture of him behind the fence and told people about his 5 years on a chain. The story went viral. People from all over were touched by his sad eyes, and that is how they were able to raise the money needed for his medical treatment. It was amazing to see strangers come together to help one dog get healthy. While he was recovering, they had to be careful with their own pets. They moved him into the office to keep him separated because they were nervous about introducing him to their current dogs. They didn't know if he would be aggressive after being tied up for so long. But then, a happy accident happened. One day, he accidentally got out of the office before they were ready. He ran right into their other German Shepherd. The rescuers held their breath, afraid of a fight. But instead of fighting, something sweet happened. It turns out, they were instantly best friends. He was totally gentle. It was like he had been waiting for a friend his whole life. Seeing him with the other dogs was the most heartwarming part of his recovery. He had been alone for so long, just staring at a fence. Now, he was running, playing, and wrestling with a pack. He was having so much fun. He was making up for all those lost years in the backyard. He was great around all the dogs, showing a soft and playful side that nobody knew he had. The rescuers watched him play and realized how much he had missed out on. Originally, the plan was just to foster him. They wanted to get him healthy and then find him a forever family. They actually did find a couple of potential homes for him. People were interested in adopting him. But every time they thought about letting him go, it just didn't feel right. They kept feeling like he was already home. They looked at him sleeping on the rug and playing with his new best friend, and they knew. Whether they planned to have another dog or not, he had made his choice. This was his home. He is happy here, and they love him more than they could explain. He went from a lonely dog on a chain to a beloved family member who will never be left behind again.